Alright guys, we got another requested video, the S21 Ultra versus the S23 Plus here. The S23 Plus, as we've covered, has come down in price a lot, so a lot of people are looking at this phone, and I have a few people, quite a few people actually, that looking to upgrade their S21 Ultra since it's gotten the One UI 7 update, which I still think this phone is a pretty fantastic phone, but if you are interested in upgrading, let's just go over kind of the pros here of the upgrade. There is going to be like one con pretty much with the camera, but let's go ahead and just jump in here. So hardware wise, you get the more updated look on the S23 Plus. I think the S23 Plus looks better than the newest, S25 Plus. I do like the camera ring design being smaller. The S21 still one of my favorite designs, and for a big phone, it's just extremely comfortable to hold. It's not boxy, so I'm just a big fan of this design just in general. It's got the cool little camera cutout as well, and you also do have S Pen support with the S21 Ultra. Also, another thing to note with the hardware is that the S23 Plus is definitely a little bit smaller, which could be a good or a bad thing, depends on what your preference is. But overall, they're both very comfortable. They're both IP68, but again, you will be losing the S Pen support if you get an S23 Plus. So let's talk about the display upgrade here. So we have two pretty decently big phones. There's not a massive difference here. You have a flat display on the S23 Plus. Is a 6.6 inch 1080p panel, 393 for the PPI, dynamic AMOLED, 120 Hz, HDR10 plus, 1750 nits peak brightness. Is not as vivid as the S21 Ultra is one thing that I'm noticing. And yeah, I think the benefit here, I guess, would be if you prefer a flat display. The S21 has a curve, and if you want a slightly higher max brightness, which I don't think it's not dramatically brighter. So that's why I said the upgrade here is kind of minimal. The S21 Ultra actually has a 6.8 inch display. It is a curved panel, and it is a 1440p panel. So that is also one thing. You can't really tell the difference for the most part. They both look pretty good and pretty sharp. But it is a 1440p 515 for the PPI, especially from the distance. You would have to really kind of load up some 1440p content, but even then, still kind of hard to tell. And then, as far as the specs of the screen go, there's not a gigantic difference in terms of screen quality. Like I said, the S23 Plus is a little bit easier to handle, I guess, if you have smaller hands, so take that into consideration. But as far as the screen upgrade, I don't even really think this is much of an upgrade at all. So to me, the screens are kind of identical. The really big difference is the size, and that is flat. Both of these phones are running Android 15, and you can see the single core and the multi-core difference. So this is where a good bulk of the upgrade comes from here. So the S21 will no longer be getting major OS updates, still getting security updates. You still have a few more updates left with the S23 Plus, which is nice. It has a 4-year pledge. And as far as the base models go, this is a 256 gig, 8 gigabyte version on the S23. And then we have a 128 gig, 12 gigabytes of RAM on the S21 Ultra here. And that is a base model as well. And as far as performance, there's really not a performance difference here at all, in my opinion. The S21 is running One UI super smooth, so it feels pretty much identical in terms of scrolling and swiping and stuff like that. I think they did a fantastic job with One UI 7 on the S21 series here. And when we get into like app loading and stuff like that, it's really not, let's try that again, it's really not that big of a difference. I would say animations and speed are virtually the same. Where these processors kind of differ is that the S21 can get a lot hotter than the S23, a lot more easier. And overall gaming performance is going to be a lot better when we talk about, more intense titles and, running emulators and stuff like that. But general performance, as you guys can see, the S21 is keeping up to a point where they virtually feel the same, especially with when UI 7 update. It's really not a big difference at all. So let's go ahead and just load up some PUBG here. This is where you will see like the bigger difference here in terms of FPS and just not heating and not taking a massive hit to the battery life. So if you are someone who games a lot and you just maybe doing a lot of intense stuff on your phone, maybe some high res photo editing, video editing, then yeah, you'll notice the speed difference in export times, and just the S23 is just able to keep up a little bit more. And I would say more intense gaming as well too for you guys that are mobile gamers. For example, you guys can see PUBG is able to run at 120 frames versus the 90 frames on the Ultra, which is not bad, you know, on the Ultra's part. These are, you know, both the Snapdragon chipsets. We have the Snapdragon 888, and then we have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 here. And yeah, performance-wise, you'll definitely notice a difference between 120 and 90. But yeah, you would really have to be someone who, you know, plays a lot of games and stuff like that. So let's say take that into consideration. If not, because this is like the main part of this upgrade, then you probably don't need to upgrade. I would hold off or go for something, save up more money. You could probably get an S23 Ultra, S24 Ultra. I would honestly try to go for like an S24. But yeah, it's not going to be a, you know, dramatic difference in performance. Here are these speakers at max volume. We'll start with the S23. Both speakers sound pretty similar. I do like the overall clarity of the S23 Plus, but the S21 does have a louder bass, overall fuller sound. Yeah, I mean, the speakers are pretty good on both. I wouldn't say that the S21 is dramatically better, or really the S23 Plus either. The speakers are pretty good. I think if you want like really better speakers, you would have to get the Ultra, S23 Ultra, or the S24 Ultra. Those two speakers, you'll notice a big difference. These two, not so much. And the fingerprint scanners are pretty much the same on both of these as well too. Both ultrasonic, really good, so no issue with that. All right, so the cameras are, you know, kind of a big thing here. But it really depends, because the S21 Ultra has a 108 megapixel standard, 10 megapixel telephoto, 3x optical, then another 10 megapixel periscope telephoto, and that has 10 times optical, so it gives you that 100 times zoom. Basically, you're going to be losing, if you upgrade to an S23 Plus, you'll be losing, you know, the zoom quality on the S23 Plus. But if you're somebody who doesn't zoom a lot, then it's not going to matter, right? You also do have the ultra wide camera on here that's 12 megapixels, 40 megapixel selfie that shoots in 4K 60. And yeah, it's just something you have to take into consideration. Show you guys these shots, but the 50 megapixel standard on the S23, 10 megapixel telephoto 3x, and this gets you up to 30 times, which is not bad. It's a 12 megapixel ultra wide. You can shoot an AK-24, and then you also have a 12 megapixel selfie that shoots in 4K 60. So the big thing here is the zoom. You guys can kind of judge the photo quality difference and let me know if it's significant enough. Now, because of the chip efficiency, I actually think the S23 Plus is a much better battery upgrade here. Because of the AAA processor is really not that efficient when it comes to screen on time and standby time. It has gotten better with updates, but it has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery versus the 4,700 milliamp. You charge faster with the S23 Plus at 45 watts versus the 25 watts on the S21. And then they both have your 15-watt wireless charging, and you both have reverse wireless charging. So I would say battery life is definitely a lot better on the S23 Plus in my experience. And like I said, it doesn't get as hot. And if you're somebody, you're going to be out taking a video, maybe taking a lot of video, playing a lot of games and stuff like that, then I would say, yeah, it's definitely a better phone for that. Where the S21 has the advantage is really in the zoom quality. This thing can go really far, get you a really good shot at 30 times, and it's just very impressive. 30 times, 10 times, 20 times. It can take a much better shot. If you don't find yourself zooming, then I think this is a pretty solid upgrade. You're not really spending a ton of money for an S23 Plus these days. So let me know what you guys think.